Hello and welcome to this week's weekly forecast video for week commencing the 18th of July 2022. So we have the overview for the week laid out in front of us here, then we will go day by day, finishing up with a spiritual guidance message for the week. So please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave me a like and leave me a comment because apparently that really helps the algorithm right now. So thank you very much in advance. All right, let's dive on in with the overview of this week, the next 7 days. Okay, so this is a very interesting looking week here. It feels, there's almost a sense of coming of age in some respect here. It's like on some level we are coming of age this week. We're making some big changes and there's definitely cause for celebration, but it's a celebration of a new beginning, I feel, or a next step on the path. But also I feel like it doesn't exactly look like we were expecting to. So I think there's going to be some mixed feelings, I want to say, about what's happening at the moment, maybe some uncertainty as to whether we're still on the right path. But I just want to reassure you that yes, you are, even if it's not exactly what you were expecting it to look like, because there's very much a merging of ways at the moment. There's a merging of the old world and elements of the old world which are coming into the new world with us. So some of those older elements are going to come through. So it may be that you have a new job in a sector that you thought, you know, or maybe you thought the old way of working just wasn't for you anymore in the new energy, or a relationship is actually moving forwards with you when you thought it was going to be ending, or some situation. So whatever it is, and it may be connected to money as well. There's definitely something connected to wealth and I want to say achievement in career in particular this week. But it's quite an odd feeling week because it'll feel almost like you're going in the wrong direction, but you're not. It's like when you're tacking against the wind in a boat, you you have to go in a zigzag to go in a direction. So you have to actually go in the wrong direction to go in the right direction. So it feels wrong, but it's actually not. So that's the reassurance I want to bring through for you this week. It's also a very interesting week, very strong connection with nature, but and I want to say, anytime you're feeling out of sorts, go and ground outside. And I talk about this a lot. Just walk outside with bare feet on grass or sand or something natural, not tarmac, if you can. Go outside, ground, connect with the earth, connect with nature. If the best you can do is a pot plant in the garden, well, that's fine. I apologise if you hear my cat trying to come in. He wants to connect with nature as well. Here he comes. Okay. I don't think he's going to jump on the desk. I don't think we're going to see him today. He may just meow a little bit, but there's a very... Oh, okay. Yes, he has a lot to say about connecting to nature. He's a Bengal, so he's quite close to the wild himself. But there's a very strong pull to connect with the wild self as well. So whether it's, I don't know, looking into bushcrafting, growing your own food, growing fruits and vegetables. Oh, he is going to jump up. Here we go. There he is. There's definitely a pull to connect with the older, wiser, wild self here. Thanks, Bedford. But it is going to feel strange because there are elements of this week which appear to be in the old energy. But it's like the image of the yin and yang. I would remind you to keep that in mind. You know, even within darkness there is light. Even within light there is darkness. There is no such thing really as ultimate good and ultimate bad. It's all very subjective. Thanks, Bedford. And I'm just going to pause the video and move my cat. You're a naughty boy. Yeah, you are a bit, aren't you? Off your pop. So that was guest producer Bedford's contribution to this week's reading. Go out in nature, reconnect with animals and your pets as well, apparently. I feel there may be an element of some interest in animal communication for some as well, or perhaps experimenting with that, because it does feel like our animal friends have a lot to say. Nature really wants to talk to us right now because we've kind of come of age, and it feels almost like the natural world finally wants to talk with us because it feels maybe we're mature enough to listen now. So let's move on to the days of the week, starting with Monday. Let's take a look at Monday's cards. We have number 2, family. We have number 14, have courage. And we have number 13, transformation. So having a look at Monday's cards, this actually looks like quite an interesting day, which could be very challenging. Interesting that we've got this lovely lion here on the number 14, have courage, a very balanced, loving and supporting lion energy here, which is nice because we are sliding towards Leo season very soon. That's coming in. Then we have Lionsgate on the 8th of August as well, which is going to be quite a big one this year, and I've talked about it before. I am actually going to do a special Lionsgate video this year as well because it's such a big one. It's really, really important to talk about. But it does feel like quite a transformational Monday insofar as there are going to be changes in the people around us. It may be that relationships are coming to an end, or the people around us that we were hanging out with need to change, or we may be meeting new people, entering new social or work situations with new people that previously, you know, perhaps we hadn't thought about hanging out with, but actually finding our tribe on some deep level here. There's a very loving energy that's nudging us forwards yet again to find our tribe, but also to let our voice be heard, I think. There's an element of soul family coming in here, and I think this is this big change with the transformation card on the end here. But it's change that comes with a very solid new beginning. And also, I want to say it's quite well thought out. It feels very much like soul families coming together now, people meeting other members of their real tribe, you know, where we are right now in our energy. These are people who resonate with us, not the people perhaps we thought were soul family before, or people we've grown out of. This is a very, very different energy for Monday. It's very interesting, and I think there could be endings and beginnings in relationships, personal relationships. There could be family members distancing themselves from one another, you know, friends, people who've known each other for a long time, and it's going to be quite a strange time, which is why the lion card there, the have courage, is really there trying to support us, because it feels like it might be something of an unnerving day. So that's the energy for me. It's a little bit unnerving, and it requires that we put our big girl and big boy pants on for this one. So if you're not in the UK, pants are underwear, not trousers. You've already got your trousers on, I hope, but you know. Yeah, we need to be quite brave now, and step forward fearlessly, meet our new soul tribe and start to communicate, let our voice be heard, put ourselves out there so that our tribe can find us, our soul tribe, our soul family can find us, so that we can help with the whole transformation of the world, not just ourselves and our own lives, although that is of course an element of it as well. So the numerology here is quite interesting. We've got a very sensitive 2, so there may feel like there's a little bit of back and forth. We may not be quite sure about our decisions at the moment, but a very balanced 14-5. And then that transformational and rather exciting 13-4, which feels quite stable to me. It feels like quite stable changes. It doesn't feel like anything too out of control. But just be aware that you may be pushed out of your comfort zone on Monday. So let's take a look at Tuesday now. Tuesday's cards, we have Discovery. We have Seek the Lesson. Now this one came out upside down, so I wanted to honour that. I don't shuffle them so that they go upside down. It just happened to be upside down, so I've left it there. And One Passion Ignited. So this is interesting, and I want to say on Tuesday, don't miss the information that is put out to you. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It seems like it would be very easy to miss wisdom in plain sight. People who step into our lives or situations that we can really learn something from. But we think, oh no, that's far too boring and mundane. That can't possibly be the lesson. That can't possibly be the thing that I'm meant to do, or you know, whatever it is. I think there's a lot of mystery on Tuesday. I'm just going to pop Little Wolf back upside down again with that 35-8. There's a lot of mystery there, and I think everything that happens is all part of our soul journey. It's all supposed to happen on some level. I don't think we make any wrong turns in life, we just make mistakes. So I just want to remind you, you know, wherever we go, whatever we do, whatever we choose to do next, there is purpose, and don't ever think that something is too mundane or too boring for you, because the universe may have a very interesting lesson for you in that situation. You know, you might think, oh, I've got this new job and it's really boring and mundane, and oh, what on earth am I doing this for? But then you might meet someone very specific, or you may learn something or teach something specific. It's very relevant to your path. It's going to help you on your own path. And it's a reminder as well that discoveries are there to be made in the most unlikely of places. Spiritual experience can be had in the most unlikely of places. You don't have to climb a mountain and seek out a guru, or, you know, sit in meditation for 21 days and only drink rice water. That's not the only way these things can come through to us. Absolutely not. I don't recommend that last one. That's something that some people do, but extremely dangerous for the body, very dangerous. So just try to remember, try to see the magic in everything that you do, even if it's something small, even if your contribution feels small or unimportant, there is a lot there. And I also want to say our guides might be a little bit quiet on Tuesday. It feels as though we may be leaning a little bit much into the mind, the ego might be taking over, we might be... spiritually, I want to say we might be getting a little bit too big for our boots. We might be thinking, oh no, I got this one. I don't need help from my spirit guide. I don't need help from the universe. I know what I'm doing here, because we get a little bit overexcited and ego jumps in and goes, I know what to do here because I'm so clever. I read a book. And I think we might be a little bit out of touch with our intuition on Tuesday. So just be very aware that you're acting in a very intentional manner on Tuesday. Make sure you're not travelling off down a blind alley, and don't allow yourself to be distracted. I want to say not all that shimmers is gold, all that glitters is not gold. Don't be distracted by something that sounds exciting. You think, oh, I might rush off and do that. Stay on the path. Even the paths that seem boring or dull or less spiritual, shall we say, if there could possibly be such a thing, which there isn't, that can be very important and very powerful for us. So try to bear that in mind. Try to make everything in your life a meditation. Try to make everything a spiritual experience if you can, because it's there. The magic is in everything. We are all parts of the divine. This whole world, this whole universe was created by the divine, so how can it not be divine? It's just a case of remembering that. So we may feel a little bit disconnected from ourselves, from our body. We might feel a bit too much up in our head on Tuesday. Just bear that in mind. Don't let your enthusiasm run away with you. And remember that not all that glitters is really gold. It might be pyrite. So maybe carry a piece of that on Tuesday. So, pyrite is fool's gold, of course. Let's take a look at Wednesday. I knew that. That's what comes after Tuesday. Right, intention, taking steps. Number 6, change is unavoidable. There's a lot of change this week. It's a real theme coming through here. And 0, new beginnings. Well, they're just showing off there. Like I say, if you've ever had a reading from me in person, when I pull the cards out, sometimes they come out like this, and I say, well, I couldn't have done this by on purpose if I tried. They're just showing off now. But they really are. They're being a bit cheeky here. Wow. Wednesday, new beginnings, so much change this week, and something's really coming to a head on Wednesday. I want to talk about relationships again for Wednesday. There may be some changes or improvements in personal relationships. It may not always be improvements, unfortunately, but there are definitely changes, because the balance has to come back into our lives. Balance is going to be another theme this week, and I think it's very important to remember that if you want to go on this journey, you have to be balanced within yourself. And if you have a partner or a friend, or you live with family who are pulling you off course, pulling you in all different directions, you don't know if you're coming or going. Because it's like these two cards are very similar in their meaning, just on on a surface level. But she's coming and she's going. So I feel like we don't know if we're coming or going. We don't know if it's dark or light. We don't know if it's up or down. There's a very confused feeling today. Very confused, very confusing. So I want to say, be very intentional in everything that you do. Again, be very clear about the steps that you take, which are taking you towards your desires, taking you towards your goals. Be very clear that it's not about I get the words the wayward heart. The wayward heart is not in charge here. It's not leading us. We could very easily be tempted into being led astray, into doing something to please somebody else, to please a family member, to please a partner, falling back into old habits where we prioritise other people's needs and other people's desires and wants over our own, which is not helpful at this time. There is a time and a place for helping other people. This is not it. And certainly there are people in our lives that we should not be helping because they're adults. They're supposed to be doing it themselves. Some people really take advantage, and I think that's going to be highlighted on Wednesday. You may really start to sort the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, in your personal life. And it may be friends, partners, family members, even people who've been taking advantage of you. I feel the mask may slip a little bit, or you'll be more keenly aware of it. And you might always have known, but I think it'll hit a bit harder home and you'll think, right, I really have to do something about this now. Something has to change. And I feel as the month goes on into Leo season, I think some things will change. I think we will be more assertive, we will become more assertive, and we'll be walking our spiritual path and, you know, our life's path with a lot more certainty and a lot more personal strength there. So it is good. It's, you know, sometimes it's necessary to see what we need to remove. We need to be able to see the weeds in the garden so that we can pull them out, so that they don't compete with the plants that we actually want for the nutrients in the soil. And it's kind of a weeding out day on Wednesday. So do your weeding. Maybe literally if you have a garden. So let's move on to Thursday on that note. Thursday's cards, we have the Healing Light. Okay, we also have 13, Follow the Moon. Very spiritual cards coming out here. And Spiritual Strength. Now this is quite a spiritual day. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Powerful, powerful spiritual connections there on Thursday. Wonderful day for magical working. Great day for astrology. I want to say great day for self-healing as well. Taking care of the self. There's definitely a connection here with the moon, I want to say. I mean, we have the moon on this card, of course. But I want to reference the moon here as well. I don't know if that's what it's meant to be, but that's what it's being shown to me as at this point in time. And I think we can do a lot here by really paying attention to our astrology, and there's a reminder to follow the moon cycle as well, particularly if you're female. Follow the moon cycle, because that will really help you enormously. It will help your energy levels, your physical abilities, your mental and emotional levels. You know, you'll feel more balanced if you can just be aware of what the moon's doing particularly. If somebody can tell me what the moon is actually doing on Thursday, what sign it's in, that'd be really interesting. Please comment below, because I'm not an astrologer, as I've often said. Again, we've got a transformational 13 here, but this is also a very witchy number. Very, very beautiful. It feels like there are past lives of those of us who were quote-unquote witches in past lives, you know, those of us who were healers, those of us who were priestesses, who worked with the moon, who worked with the feminine energies there. There's a lot of that coming forwards. And again, with this sort of monk type figure here, it feels very much like there are past religious and spiritual lifetimes that are coming back into our memory on Thursday, which is going to be very interesting. So pay attention to any inspiration that comes to you, anything that you channel, any cards that you pull, you know, any thoughts that come through and you think, oh, where did that come from? That's not the sort of, you know, thing my mind normally says to me. It may be coming from a past lifetime. There's a lot of old lifetimes where we were very spiritual or very religious actually coming to the fore on Thursday. So that's going to be fascinating. And it may happen for the most unlikely of people as well. It may not be you specifically. It may be someone that you know, someone that you work with. You know, they may say to you, oh, I just had this really strange thought about something, you know. So pay attention for that. Very spiritual day, very interesting day. Again, the energy is a little bit floaty. Don't expect to get a lot done, I want to say. But if there are difficult situations, lean into your spirituality here. I don't think the ego mind, I don't think the conscious, sensible brain is going to be particularly helpful on Thursday. I think it's going to be overruled time and time again. So don't expect to get much done in a concrete sense, but it's a wonderful day for writing, for artists, for inspiration. Absolutely beautiful day there. So see where it takes you and see what you want to do with it. Like I said, it is a very good day for healing. I want to focus on self-healing specifically at the moment, because that's a very strong theme right now. So self-healing, self-Reiki. If you're not already a Reiki practitioner, you can get the new and improved basic Reiki training from my website, which is absolutely free. I will link to that below. Yeah, very interesting day. See where it takes you, and remember to come back and leave me a comment so I know what you've been up to. If anything exciting happens to you during the week, would love to hear from that. Love to hear from the community. So Friday's cards, we have Stuck Energy. That's not good. We have number 42, Show That You Care. And number 4, Rest and Rejuvenate. Okay, 4, 4 and 8. Yeah, that's some tricky energy right there. That's not an easy day to look at. That's a tricky day. The first thing I want to say with the stuck energy and the rest and rejuvenate is when things aren't moving forwards like that you want them to, when you feel like you're being held back, the universe might be trying to give you a break. Okay, if things aren't moving forwards, it might be time to rest before the next step. Okay, if you're waiting for something to happen, you're waiting for an outcome, waiting for some paperwork to come through, and you're getting frustrated thinking, oh, but I want to start this new project, I want to move on to the next step, and it's not happening, it could be the universe trying to tell you, you need to rest first before you can move on to that, otherwise it's not going to work in the way that you want it to. But also some quite difficult, heavy energy. Okay, when the universe gives us a rest, it's not always pleasant. I always remind myself that sometimes you have to sometimes you have to rest, or the universe will force you to rest. All right. So, and being forced to rest often isn't very nice. Being forced to rest can look like illness. Being forced to rest can look like being laid off at work. So it may be time, try to rest before you're made to rest, I want to say. If you're feeling a bit burnt out, try and take some time out, even if it's just in the evening. And really show that loving care to your body, I want to say, and to your higher self as well. Acknowledge the spiritual aspects of self if you've been neglecting them, if you feel you haven't been... Now that's odd, I wanted to say meditating, but for some reason my guides were giving me the word negotiating. If you haven't been negotiating enough with your higher self. Now that's an odd word for them to give me, but that's what they've given me, so I'm going to go with it. If you haven't been in enough communication with your higher self, you know, because the higher self doesn't command what we do in this lifetime, and that's important to remember. Our spirit guides don't command us. They can give us advice and pointers, and they can suggest things to us, but they ultimately don't get to make the decisions. You know, and if you're somebody that talks to your spirit guide, you will know that a lot of it is a negotiation. Sometimes, you know, there is negotiating that we do with the universe. It's not, oh, great spirit, what do I do? And they go, yeah, you have to do that and you have to do it. And that's certainly not the energy that we're in right now. I think it may have been the case a few hundred years ago, a few thousand years ago. Yes, it may have been a lot more rigid, a lot more strict. But now there's very much a give and take. There's a to and from flow of energy between us and the higher aspects of ourselves and our spirit guides and our angels. So try to remember that it is about communicating back and forth rather than just saying, oh, please tell me what to do. Because that's not their job to tell you what to do. You know, they might give you some pointers or some hints, but ultimately it has to be your decision. Everything in your life has to be your decision. And if you're stuck, well, take full responsibility for that. Sit with it, rest until the solutions come through to you, because they will. Very interesting on that 42-6. Now, it's a very, very sensitive number, but we're in the 40s again here. And in those last cards, what was it? We had a 40 right at the beginning, which was that, here we go, this one, which I was referring to as it feels almost like a coming of age for the human race. It feels like a coming of age for some of us around this time, which is going to be very interesting. So I feel, again, there will be more communication from the higher realms because they feel that we're actually ready for it now. There will be some very interesting spiritual experiences. So try to remember, we must take full personal responsibility for our lives. You know, establishing communication with your spirit guides, you know, with your higher self is great, but don't do it so that they can make the choices for you. That's not the point. If that's what you're trying to do, you're missing the point. If you're trying to say to God, what am I supposed to do? You're missing the point. Okay? In some circumstances, you will get a specific message, you need to do this, okay, for certain things. But for the most part, it's our choice and our decision. And if you got yourself stuck in the mud, that was probably your choice and your decision as well. So, full personal responsibility, my friends. We are sovereign beings, we're grown-ups. And it's time to, I want to say, reassess the relationships that we have with the higher realms, the higher dimensions. Because we call them higher, but only because it's a higher frequency, not because they're any better than us, not because they're cleverer than us, because they're more worthy, because they're more special than us. And I think that's a big mistake that we can make. They're not more worthy than us, they're just on a different vibration. Okay. Where are we? Saturday. Yes, Saturday is Saturday's cards. Okay, we have back and forth. That's exactly what I was talking about, the back and forth. 22, let go of the old. And number 6, the memories of love. Oh my. That's quite a wistful day, I want to say. That there's a bit of nostalgia coming through here on Saturday. And it is about letting go of old habits, old patterns, and it might be old patterns of how you pray or how you do your spiritual practice. You know, if you're somebody who tries to sort of prostrate yourself in front of the divine, that's not what the divine wants. You know, it's not quite like that. I don't believe that the divine presence or God wants us to act like some lowly earthworm and say, oh, I'm not worthy. You know, this isn't Wayne's World. We're not worthy. Get up. Of course you're worthy. Let me know if you've seen Wayne's World. You are worthy. Get up. You know, again, it's about communication. It's about back and forth with the divine, with our spirit guides. We were put here to have free will. You know, God gave us free will. God, Goddess, divine, whatever you want to call it. It really doesn't matter. Names don't matter at this point. We have free will. You're not here to follow some instruction manual that somebody sent you, because what would have been the point of doing that? There would be very little point of that particular existence. It's time to let go, I feel, of the old ways of doing things, the old ways of our spirituality, and move into some new ways of doing things. And I heard one of my spiritual friends recently saying that a lot of people are moving out of having a very rigid spiritual practice. That just doesn't work for people anymore. It used to work for a lot of people, but it's something I've really struggled with for a few years now, and I couldn't work out why. But then I realised it's because it's not right for me. I don't meditate every day at 4 a.m. I don't do yoga every day at 5 a.m. I don't do whatever. I know people who rigidly do a Reiki session on themselves every day at 4 o'clock, but it's that old way of doing things that's falling away for a lot of us. So if you don't have that regular pattern of doing things, give yourself a break. It's okay. In fact, it may not be necessary in the energy that we're moving into. I feel we don't really need that anymore, which is why we're not really doing it. A lot of us, we don't need routine anymore. We're moving into the Aquarian energy. Aquarius isn't about routines. That's not really a thing. So, yes, we can look back on the past and how we used to do things and how it was, but let it go now. See if it still fits in your life. And this goes in every part of your life right now. See if it still fits in your life right now. Does it still fit with your intention of what you actually want to do, where you want to go with your life? And really sit with that and allow those thoughts to come through. Allow the inspiration to come through there. And I think you'll be able to get much clearer about it. 52-7, yeah. And I want to bring in the numerology of 52-7 here, because this card is a 5 and he's on like a seesaw. Now the seesaw is like a physical representation of number 2. Okay, it's the two ends, the two extremes. Number 2 is the seesaw. And I want to say 52. That's the number my guides gave me. So numerologically, I feel this is a key number today. It is about making decisions, exploring extremes, but exploring them within the mind, and with a view to where we are going, with a view to our new adventure, with a view to our new path. What will empower us and what will hold us back? What will take us further forwards in the direction that we want to go? So there may be some wistfulness, there may be some people, some relationships we need to leave behind, but there's also a potential for glory. I feel some things, projects that start on Saturday or that we take to the next step on Saturday, I feel there could be huge success that come from these changes that we're inspired to make. So that's going to be very, very interesting. Positive changes, I want to say. And that could go, on the national level, on the international level, as much as on the individual level. We'll see it play out on all levels, just like everything always does. So pay attention to what's happening, on the world stage on Saturday, because there could be some interesting shifts happening there as well. So moving on to Sunday, our cards, we have Present Power. That's an interesting one. More lions coming through here, lion and a tiger. Number 11, Embrace the Masculine. And number 8, Positive Movement Forwards. Now this is quite a dynamic energy coming through for Sunday, I want to say. Again, there's the little energy of Leo season starting to come through, this very strong, very feline energy that my cat wanted to get in on at the beginning of the reading here. Very interesting day, very intentional day, a very conscious day, I want to say. So we've got number 2 and then we've got 11-2 here. So it brings in the wisdom of, brings in the element of wisdom as well to go with the balance and decision of number 2, which is very interesting. So it can be a very good day for sorting out disputes, I want to say. It can be a very empowering day, leaning into our masculine energy, but also connecting with nature. I want to say there's a very strong connection with nature this whole week, which we saw at the beginning with this card here. I'm going to show you again. See yourself in nature. It's a very strong connection, again, to the divine masculine and to nature. We're really learning to reignite the divine masculine now so that we can move forwards together. The divine masculine, or the masculine energy, has been quite squished for a while. It's time for it to come back up again this Leo season. We're really going to feel it. And that's really going to enable us to take some big steps forwards. And that could be with a new career, with a business, it could be with relationships, it could be with transforming your life in the way you want to change it. It's very, very exciting energy, very powerful, very empowered feeling day. A great day for money magic, abundance magic. It feels very empowered. I want to say working with Saturn energy as well. So if you work with high magics, I feel there's a connection with Saturn here as well. But a positive connection, and the energy feels very strong but very calm as well for Sunday. So that's quite exciting in and of itself, but also quite steady, and it reminds us very much that, you know, we just have to keep going in life. If things are difficult, keep going. Call on your spirit guides, you know, call on the divine cats as well, the lions of the 8-8 portal. Call on them to help you. Those beautiful creatures from Sirius, call on them to help you, call on them to support you, call in that lion energy to really give you the strength to move forwards if you're struggling. And I think that's going to make a very big difference, because there's this very beautiful, very sunny, powerful Leo type energy coming in here to really support us at the end of the week, and really we can make some big positive changes in our life if we choose to, but with great wisdom as well, with great wisdom. It's almost a Gandalf feel here. Gandalf energy, that's what I'm going to call it. Okay, so let's just take a look at our spiritual guidance for the week. We just have one card this week, and it's very sweet. It's number 41, the Nightingale Spirit. Love is all around. No, I won't sing, don't worry. So 41-5. So again, we're coming into a 5 energy here. Now 5 is the adventure, it's the mind, it's the scientist. So I feel pretty good, actually. I want to say I feel good. I feel good this week. I feel like there are minds around the world who are waking up, and this is what I said about the coming of age, why other realms and animal guides, animals may feel ready to communicate with us right now, because we're coming of age. So it may be that there are scientists who are waking up to different aspects of the universe this week, who are becoming wiser, who are stepping up, speaking out about things that need to be addressed, things that need to change, you know, when it comes to our health and well-being, when it comes to our world, what we're doing, how we're doing things, and not all the old tropes that we used to, but very different forward-thinking methods and ideas, I think, really coming to the surface, really singing their song here. It's going to be a very, very interesting week to see who steps up and who wants to lead the pack now, because there are some very wise, very benevolent forces coming into play right now. And I think even if we're concerned about what's happening in the world, if we feel like it's going in the wrong direction, we don't have the right leaders in place, you know, we don't have the politicians that we want in place, or any at all, I think we're going to see some real positivity coming through, which a lot of people may not be expecting. You know, if you've gone down the rabbit hole and, you know, you're aware of certain things, it may seem like a very frightening place in the world right now, but that's not a good energy to stay in. So try not to despair, and try not to be chicken licking. The sky is not falling in. The sky is not falling in. I just want to reassure you, things are genuinely getting better, okay? And we will continue to see the signs. We will continue to see the changes, and people who may appear to be acting as white hats or as positive actors will start to show up, will continue to show up. Even people that we don't like and we don't consider to be positive, you know, on the world stage, or even on an individual level in our own individual lives, they may start doing things which seem perhaps out of character, which are much more positive for the common good, for the good of mankind. And that's going to be very nice to see this week. It's a very beautiful energy, and I think there's going to be a lot to be very positive about. There's going to be a lot to be very hopeful about. That's what I want to remind you all of this week. There is much to be positive about, very much. So try and keep that in mind so that we can continue to manifest it faster, because we are energetically all in this soup together. We all need to work together just to bring this to the fore. So a very wise 41. Again, we're in the 40s. Here it's the individual leading the number 4, leading the concrete world. So is a reminder there that we create the world. So try to stay positive. Refer back to your manifesting list if that's what it takes, or write a new one. Write a list of things that you want to declare about your life, about the world, about how things are going to be. And remember that all is made of love, and we're going to see it more and more as time goes on. So thank you very much. If you made it to the end of this video, please do remember to leave me a comment. If you made it all the way to the end, please comment love is all around so that I know that. That would be absolutely wonderful. And I will see you all again soon.